I'm Chief Warrant Officer 4 Vic Pinion, U.S. Navy retired, telling some stories of my naval career. This one is while I was the catapult rescue gear maintenance officer aboard the aircraft carrier John F. Kennedy CV-67. It involves difficulties in machining some special parts. The rescue gear Crosshead Phenolic slippers. You just about have to be an rescue gear man to know what I'm talking about. But we discovered that they were worn out. They were worn beyond limits, meaning we had to replace them. Now they are custom made to a specific size. They got a blank, and then you take some measurements, and then you take those slippers, phenolic slippers. They're about that long and about 4 inches wide and about a 1/4 inch thick, the blanks. For each corner, and there's 8 corners, for each one of those slippers are custom. You take measurements and you take the slippers to the machine shop and have them machine them to that specific size, and then you bring them back up and install them. Well, we did our part and we took them to the machine shop. Now, I always made sure that we didn't send an airman to the machine shop with the slippers in the list. Anytime we had to do business with people of another department or division, I would personally be involved. Well, I personally went to the machine shop and explained to them what we needed done, and they started doing them, but those slippers warped and bowed when they're trying to machine them. And we went through over a dozen slippers, and every one of them would warp and bow. So I wrote a feedback report, request for engineering information to the Naval Air Engineering Center, and mailed it off. And they came back, just said, "You're doing it wrong." And he didn't give me a procedure. Meanwhile, a friend of mine that was out in California, a CASU rep, Dick Schumann, wrote me a letter and told me he was embarrassed by that Naval Air Engineering Center's response, and he gave me a procedure. I went down to the engineering log room with that procedure and the spacers, and that in addition to Chief Cheney taking some slippers to the carpenter shop and sanding them down on the belt sander to roughly the right size to where they were within limits. In any case, we got our problem solved. Thank you, Chief Cheney. Thank you, Dick Schumann. Y'all carry on. That's the end of the story.